Today we're going to be talking about the histology of the central nervous system and making this very daunting subject super easy for you guys to understand. Here we can see the 6 main cell types that support neurons in the nervous system. We call these glial cells. Now, as I mentioned, this video is really going to focus on the central nervous system, so although I will talk about peripheral system glial cells, I'll put a cross through these later on so you can clearly see which is which. Let's start by talking about Schwann cells. Now these are the main glial cells found in the peripheral nervous system. They are vital in the functioning of neurons. They wrap around the axons of peripheral nerves in order to form an insulating sheath, allowing neurons to conduct signals to one another. Satellite cells are again found in the peripheral nervous system, and they work by covering the cell bodies of neurons in sensory, sympathetic, and parasympathetic ganglia. Now remember, ganglia is just a fancy technical term for a collection of neuronal cell bodies found in the peripheral nervous system. Amazingly, we still aren't certain what these cells do, but we think they have a role in creating the correct microenvironment for the proper functioning of neurons. Now we can talk more about the central nervous system, the focus of this video. Microglia make up about 10 to 15% of all cells found in the brain. They are the central nervous system's primary immune cell, a specialist type of macrophage. They act as the main line of defense against pathogens, but they also act as a team cleanup, constantly scouring the CNS for plaques, damaged or unnecessary neurons, and synapses. Oligodendrocytes are easily remembered as the Schwann cell equivalent for the central nervous system. If you cast your mind back to a few moments ago, you'll remember that they work by providing the sheath of myelin that wraps around the axon of nerves. This allows action potentials to travel the length of the axon quickly. The difference is that one oligodendrocyte can wrap up to 50 neurons, whereas a Schwann cell is more of a one-to-one setup. Astrocyte is a Greek word for star cell, which is an apt description for this glial cell. Its role is complicated, but it supports the structure of the brain by offering metabolic support, contributing to the maintenance of the blood-brain barrier, and modulating blood flow. Last but not least, ependymal cells are specialized epithelial cells which line the ventricles in the brain and the central canal of the spinal cord. All these cells contribute to create the complicated microarchitecture of the nervous system, but today Dr. Chapman is going to focus on the histology of the central nervous system, taking a closer look at the cells of the spinal cord and the things to look out for. We won't talk about satellite cells or Schwann cells in the next part of the video, as these belong to the peripheral nervous system.
G'day everyone, Jamie Chapman here from Chapman Histology. In this video we're going to be looking at histology of the central nervous system. So here we have a cross section through the spinal cord, and we can actually see that even in this H&E stain section we can see sort of these 2 regions in the spinal cord. We've got this outer region here, which is the white matter, and then this inner region here, which looks a little bit like a butterfly with its wings here. This is actually grey matter. Now within these different regions we find different parts of the cells that make up the central nervous system, and in the central nervous system these are 2 broad classifications of cells. We've got neurons, of course, which are main functional cells that receive information, conduct action potentials to stimulating other cells, including other neurons or muscle cells or other effector cells. And then we have the supporting cells for those neurons, and those are known as neuroglial or just glial cells. Now in the central nervous system, these are known as astrocytes, oligodendrocytes, microglia, and ependymal cells. So where do we find each of these different cell types? Well, the neurons, their cell soma, or their cell bodies, where the nucleus resides, exists largely within the grey matter. Now just be aware, in the brain, this arrangement of white and grey matter is actually reversed, where the grey matter is on the outside and the white matter is on the inside. The white matter is known as white matter because it consists of large tracts of myelinated axons, so they're conducting the action potentials to wherever they're going to bring that information. The neuroglia are scattered throughout. So if we zoom in here and have a look at the white matter, we can see that myelin sheaths, which increase conduction speed of the axons, along the axons, are actually made up of lots and lots of wrappings of cell membranes of oligodendrocytes. So because these are largely cell membranes are largely lipid-based phospholipids, they're actually removed during processing for normal microscopy, for light microscopy. So we end up with lots of these little white rings with a little dot in the middle. Now the dots are actually the axons. So they contain neurofilaments and neurotubules, which are proteins, and proteins stained with eosin. So that's why we have these little acidophilic dots here. So these white spaces are where the myelin sheath used to be. It's been removed through processing for microscopy, and those are basically wrappings of the oligodendrocytes. And they, of course, form these conducting tubes that enables the action potential to jump down the axon through saltatory conduction. If we zoom out again, we have a look at the grey matter. Here we can actually see these large holes and then these large cell-like structures here. If we zoom in, these are actually the soma of the motor neurons. This is actually the ventral horn of the grey matter. And here we can actually see the soma. So there's a nucleus here. It's not that easy to see in this section, unfortunately. And then the cytoplasm is here, and then its processes are running away. Now, it's difficult to tell, but one of these would be the axon. Some of these would be the dendrites, which are receiving the information. And this white space, this little halo, is actually shrinkage artifacts. So when we process for microscopy, we dehydrate the tissue, and that tends to shrink that tissue, and so it ends up with this white space. It's an error introduced through processing for microscopy. Now, the tissue on the outside of the soma is a tissue known as neuropil. Now, neuropil consists of dendrites, axons from the neurons, as well as glial cells and the glial cell processes. So any nucleus that we find here would belong to something like an astrocyte, or an oligodendrocyte, or a microglial cell. So all of these processes, this is just stacks and stacks of processes of these cells stuck together. There's very, very little extracellular space because it's just completely filled with all of these cellular processes within this neuropil. There'd be synapses, and there'd be dendrites and axons and astrocyte processes and oligodendrocyte processes, myelinating axons, and so on. So that accounts for all of those cells. But what about the ependymal cells? Where do we actually find the ependymal cells? Well, the ependymal cells are actually found lining this little hole in the middle of the spinal cord here. This is known as the central canal. If we zoom in here, we can actually hopefully see this line of cells on the outside. These are actually ependymal cells, and they line like the ventricular surface in the brain, the ventricles of the brain, and then line the that continuation of that space in the brain down the spinal cord, known as the central canal. They have a little, not present and not visible here, they have a little single cilium which detects the flow of cerebrospinal fluid. So this space is actually filled with cerebrospinal fluid. So these are where we find the ependymal cells, that fourth glial cell type in the central nervous system. Well, that pretty much covers the central nervous system histology. Hopefully you found that useful, and I'll see you in the next video.